Hey everyone, I'm Swati and welcome back to our series on mechanics in which we are learning vectors. So today's video also on numericals in which we are dealing with some higher order critical thinking of numericals. So let's begin with that. Okay, so let's start with the numericals. See, the numericals are very easy. Concept-wise, the physics concept is very easy. What makes it difficult is the maths, simple maths. But if you are good with maths, then it's fine. So the first question is consider two forces of unequal magnitude are acting on a particle making an angle of 120 degree with each other. Making an angle of 120 degree. Okay. Now, if one of the force is reversed, the acceleration becomes root 3 times. The acceleration becomes root 3 times. Okay, find the ratio of two forces. Find the ratio of two forces. Okay, so as a concept wise, it's very easy. You have given two condition. First is, let's say the resultant of two unequal forces F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Theta is 120 degree, cos 120 is minus half. So this R1 will become F1 square plus F2 square minus F1 F2 because cos theta is minus half. Let's make it first equation. And for the second condition, you have one force to be reversed. So it becomes simply minus 2 F1 F2 cos theta as per the formula we have discussed in a previous video. You can check that. It becomes simply minus F1 F2 cos theta. I'll give you the proof there. Again, put theta to be 120 degree. It becomes plus F1 F2. So your R2 will become F1 square plus F2 square plus F1 F2. This is second. Now you know that force is basically mass into acceleration, and they are talking for a particle. So the mass is same. That means force is proportional to acceleration, or here the resultant is proportional to acceleration. So R1 by R2 is equals to A1 by A2, or you can say R2 by R1. R2 by R1 is equals to A2 by A1 because the new acceleration will become root 3 times. So R2 is what? Under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus F1 F2, and R1 was minus F1 F2. That means under root of F1 square plus F2 square minus F1 F2, and here the acceleration becomes root 3 times. That means your A2 is root 3 times of A1. So the ratio is root 3. Now all three have under roots, so you can simply square them and it becomes F1 square plus F2 square plus F1 F2 whole over F1 square plus F2 square minus F1 F2 is equals to 3. You can just, now you can see it's simple maths. You have to simplify it. F1 F2 is equals to 3 F1 square plus 3 F2 square minus 3 F1 F2, and if you transport it, it becomes 2 F1 square plus 2 F2 square and minus 4 F1 F2. Just take 2 to be common. It become F1 square plus F2 square minus 2 F1 F2. Now you have to calculate the ratio. So you can divide by F2 square. Divide by F2 square. So it become F1 by F2 whole square. This become 1, and this become basically F1 by F2, because when you divide F2 by F2 square, so 1 F2 left, there, and you can just put f1 by f2 to be x. It simply become a quadratic equation. Minus 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. It is an identity. You can say that is x minus 1 whole square. X square plus b square minus 2ab. So from here x is equals to 1. X is what? f1 by f2. So your f1 by f2 is simply 1. Okay, so it's a simple maths. One or two formulas and a complete math. So if you're good with that, this topic is very easy for you. Let's check one another question. Let's say two vectors P and Q. Two vectors P and Q have a resultant R. Now, if Q is reverse, if Q is double, let's say if Q is doubled, are also doubled, and if Q is reversed, R is doubled, again doubled. Okay, find the ratio of P, Q, and R. Okay, so here you have basically three equations. Let's take the angle between them to be theta. So first is simply P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Let's make it like this. R square is equals to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Okay. Now, take condition 1. If Q is double, R is also double. Then it becomes 4R square is equals to P square plus 4Q square. Put Q to be 2Q, it becomes 4PQ cos theta. It becomes second equation. And then R is doubled if Q is reversed, R is also doubled. Then again 4R square, but here Q is doubled. So it's simply P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos theta. That is the third equation. Now you have three variables, three equation. It's perfect. The number of unknown variables should be equal to the number of equations. Then you can find the unknown variables. So now here you can take first and third, and you can simply add. If you add, let's do something. First is second minus first. Second minus first. So you will get 3R square is equals to P and P cancel. 4Q square minus Q square is 3Q square. And this becomes 2PQ cos theta. Make it equation 4. Okay. And then what you can do, you can simply add 3 plus 1. You can get rid of this cos theta term. Then it becomes 5R square 2P square plus 2Q square, and cos theta terms will cancel. It becomes equation 5. Okay. Now, what you can do, you can solve 3 and 4. Add 3 and 4. So what you can get, you can rid of this. So 4 plus 3 is, I'm adding this 3 and 4, yeah. Then 7R square, and this becomes 3 plus 2. Okay, P square plus 4Q square. This become equation number 6. I'm using these two equations. So 4R plus 3R gives you 7. This P square, Q and 3 is 4Q square, and this 2PQ and minus 2PQ cancel each other. Now, if you can see, This is p square plus q square is equals to 5 by 2 r square. Okay, from equation 5. And from equation 6, it is p square plus 4q square is equals to 7r square. Now, what you can do, you can subtract them. It become minus 3q square and 5 by 2 minus 7. That is 14. 14 minus 7 gives you what? 14 minus 5, sorry, 9 by 2. R square minus, so then your q square will become 3 by 2 r square and your q will become under root times of 3 by 2 times of r. This is first. And for the p square, you can simply put the value of q square in this equation. So this is p square. It's simple maths. You can then put the q is 3 by 2 r square, then 5 by 2 r square, and then your p square is equals to 3 by 2 there. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 by 2 is 1. Then it becomes r square. Then p is equals to r. Okay. So now, if you get the ratio of p is to q is to r, then you can say that p is basically what? R. Q is root 3 by root 2 times of r is to r, and then it becomes 1 is to root 3 times of root 2 is to 1. So this could be a ratio. Or if you multiply the ratio with root 2, it becomes root 2 is to root 3 is to root 2. It could be anything as per the option given. Okay, so you can see it's simple maths with the basic formula. Let's take another question. It's interesting. Let's say, consider a particle at point P with velocity 3 meter per second, and it moves to q and have velocity of 4 as shown. Let's say the particle was at this point P. Here it is moving with velocity 3 and it moves in a curve like this with an angle of 60 degree. And then it comes to this point Q, and here it is moving with velocity of 4 meter per second, which is tangential to the curve, and we will learn that in mechanics. So find change in velocity. Find change in velocity. So they are asking change in velocity. So if it is velocity v1, it is velocity v2. So they are asking this v2 minus v1, and it is a vector quantity. So they are asking its magnitude. So for the difference, what you have to do, v2 square minus v1 square, sorry, plus v1 square minus 2v1 v2 cos theta. So it is the change. So v2 square is basically 4 square plus 3 square minus 2 into 4 into 3 cos 60 degree, and cos 60 is what? Half. So it's what? 16 square plus 9, 16, 4 square is 16, 3 square is 9, cos 60 is half cancel, minus 4 3 is 12. Now this becomes 13 basically. So yeah, it's simply root 13 meter per second is the magnitude of change in velocity. So you can see the simple maths with a little bit of concepts. Okay, so let's do some more. Okay, consider another question. It's a little bit of different. Consider two equal forces, let's say F by 2, acting at an angle, acting on a particle perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. Now here's something interesting. What should be the magnitude of the third force acting on its bisector so that it can neutralize the effect of these forces? So what is the magnitude of the third force acting at the bisector in the opposite direction, so the magnitude, it can neglect, it can, you can say, so that it can cancel their effect. Cancel their effect means they should have equal magnitude, because it's obviously acting in the opposite direction. So all they need is the equal magnitude. So if the resultant is what of two forces is F by 2 whole square plus F by 2 whole square plus 2 F by 2 into F by 2, that is F by 2 whole square cos 90 degree, and cos 90 degree is 0, so this whole term is 0. So that resultant is what? F square by 4 plus F square by 4, that is 2F square by 4, 2F square by 4, so it becomes F square by 2, so that resultant is equals to F by 2. So F by root 2. So now this is very obvious, because they have already mentioned that if two forces are acting like this, so the third force which are acting in the opposite direction, what should be its magnitude so that it can neglect it? So this has a magnitude of F by root 2. It is obviously in opposite direction, so it should also have the magnitude of F by root 2. Okay, so to cancel the effect, the magnitude should equal and the direction should be opposite. It's that simple. Okay, let's do one more question of this video. The last question is, let's say the resultant of two forces is 20 Newton. Okay, if one of the force is 20 root 3 Newton, and that makes an angle of 30 degree with the resultant, makes an angle of 30 degree with the resultant. Means the resultant has an angle of 30 degree. Okay, we have to calculate, find the another magnitude force. Find the magnitude of other force. Okay, so it's very easy. You have resultant to be 20 Newton. Let's say one force P to be 20 root 3 Newton, and you have to calculate Q. So the resultant is basically P plus Q. You have to calculate Q. So the Q will become R minus P. And you have the angle between R and P, so you can use this to calculate the magnitude of this, which is equals to R square plus P square minus 2R P cos theta. R is what, 20, then becomes 400. P is 20 root 3. 4 3 is 1200. Okay, 400 into 3 minus 2 into 20 into 20 root 3, and cos 30 degree is what? Root 3 by 2. So you cancel this, it becomes 400 plus 1200 minus 1200. So it becomes 20 Newton. So it's very easy, but there is also a trick you can use in this question, which I will discuss in our next video with some more things on that addition, and then we'll move to resolution of vectors. So thank you for watching this video, and do like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned with me for more such videos.